Okay, welcome everyone to the Superblog introduction. Save time and increase your visibility. And we're going to cover 6 social internet marketing obstacles that our team has run into preparing for our content marketing and our social marketing programs. And we're going to share with you what we think is a business case for using the Superblog. And Miriam, one of our guest speakers and community builders, is going to talk about social media influencing, which is really the end goal, one of the end goals of doing a program, of a social media program and a content marketing program. So my name is Anthony Sarno, and I've been providing local internet marketing services for over 5 years with proven solutions that pay for themselves. And Miriam Salzberg is a social media manager and has been awarded as one of the top 50 industry influencers of 2014. Welcome, Miriam.
Thank you, Anthony. I'm really looking forward to this.
All right. So the Superblog is made up of really community members, social media marketing practitioners such as Miriam, business leaders. We have a gentleman in Vancouver, British Columbia, Remy Ferlin, and he's not really in marketing, internet marketing person, but he's leading a retail group, the Superblog group, with a specific niche. And we also have Martha Snee, who's been a contributor to the content. She's a content creator and she's a NLP copywriter. And we continue to grow and look for more resources because we've really felt that to be successful takes a lot of people. It takes a lot of sharing to build the engagement up and to build your presence up or our presence up. So let's just talk briefly about the history of our company because, as I mentioned, we do local SEO for 5 years. And by the way, we've been doing that on month-to-month contracts. So we really ensure that we're proving the value to our customers on an ongoing basis. And we've been very active in mobile websites, responsive websites, and mobile applications. And we see the future of local, big part of it being mobile. So, for example, what we're doing with Remy in British Vancouver is actually bringing a mobile application to that vertical market with the shopping cart, which is very exciting. And that's all possible because we are a WordPress shop, and we felt that WordPress is the best content management solution for integration and for building applications. And in fact, WordPress is moving towards an application framework. So we also have 3 plugins that we've developed that we use with our clients, and we're going to be releasing some of those to the market. And one is a contest plugin, which was created as a result of needing to provide social signals back to our website or back to our client's website, as well as build lists. And we'll go into more detail of the social signals. We have a follow me web to phone chat, which allows people, information seeking buyers, to connect with experts through chat, regardless of where the expert is, be on their phone. And we also have Google Client Maps, which provide rich data snippets, and we've been testing that out with our internal clients and seeing the results of that. We're going to be releasing that as well to our members. So some of the major internet marketing trends or changes which have been occurring, which kind of were partly the catalyst for us doing the Superblog. And first and foremost is this transition in the internet to really count authority and reputation and trust as being equally important as, for example, backlinks were. So authority could be something as simple as making sure that your Google authorship is set up correctly. Reputation could include reviews and making sure you're getting more and more reviews. Social signals are, and we have a chart on this, are really all things pointing back to your site. People are socially sharing and commenting and liking your content. Is very, very important for ranking and for traffic. And the semantic web is the next World Wide Web standard, and that's really having a huge impact as far as what kind of content you want to be capturing on your website. And the more rich data, it's known as, and the more linked data you have, then the more traffic and the more ranking you're going to achieve. So these are some concepts are simple, like the social signals is pretty simple. By now, everyone's heard of Google Plus and Facebook, but there's a whole slew of additional social media outlets and Web 2.0 sites, which also can add authority back to your site. And that's called domain authority. And this is one of the reasons why we did the Superblog, because you have to capture a lot of semantic or different domains back to your website. And then the semantic web, this is an excellent video on TED, and everyone should see it because this is a game changer and it's happening already. And it's really about linked data, data talking to other data, intelligent data. There's a lot of different names for it, but it's happening. And you want to be tuned in to what's occurring, so you're making sure that your technology is in compliance and is taking advantage of these trends. So we actually, although we do a lot of local SEO, as I mentioned, we actually have, working with the community builders, we have a number of different vertical market initiatives in content marketing. For example, in sustainability, we have fantastic content which we've created and we are ready to release into our campaign. But then it became really clear. We started looking at, okay, let's get in execution mode. Well, one, need a lot more content and a lot more posting for social marketing, and that extremely time consuming, and it's notorious for being time consuming, and 100% unique content. And we do a lot of unique content. We also create things called silo architectures, which has hundreds of articles that will be part of a website. That's very unique content. But the more you do that, then the more money you're going to need to spend. So how do you overcome those barriers and or maybe scale up and build your team out? And we found outsourcing without documented processes was a little bit more than a challenge. It was almost impossible. There was no control as to what the output was going to be from the outsourcing teams. So we also handled, well, let's talk about the 6 internet social marketing obstacles. So those were the business obstacles. We were sitting there going, okay, so now what's the best approach? How do we get around this? And so it's either hire an army of people or hire very, very expensive social media outsourcing companies to come in and take control and just hope that what they're doing is the right thing. But it wasn't really a possibility because the costs were so high. So we looked at WordPress, we looked at the market, and we looked at a lot of tools. And we pretty much trialed them, and we never could really get past the manual posting processes. There's a lot of tools out there, and they're all good, and they all have a good fit for some things, but they all kind of had limited social media outlets that they talk to. And predominantly Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, maybe Google Plus, maybe LinkedIn groups, maybe LinkedIn company or Google Plus communities. And that's really just scratching the surface of where we wanted to make sure our amplification of our content was going. And so we either had to do manual posting or we had to deal with incomplete solutions and still do manual posting. So it's a very, very huge issue. Content marketing is expensive. There's no way around it. And you need good content. And the better your content and the more targeted your content, then the less content you actually need. So we call it targeted content marketing was our solution to this, and blended. And what do I mean by blended? Well, when you really take a good look at how other people, successful people are doing social media, you'll see a lot of imagery, a lot of new media. And that could just be pictures, images, but also video. And video marketing is extremely important. So all of this image, all this new media and various multimedia types all have to be handled by your infrastructure. It has to be accountable. You have to be able to support everything. And so, for example, if you look at Facebook and Twitter, with all of their new image sizes, you really want to fit in and have that modern look. So by doing that, we actually found that this is one of the lowest cost touches you're going to be able to put out there is these images, not including the video because video can be expensive. But with Google Places, there's more of an acceptance for one-on-one personalized video. So it really becomes an opportunity for everyone to participate in video marketing, which is going to see an explosion as it continues to explode. So image marketing was one way we could have blended the content. And standing apart, our whole philosophy is, okay, so what do we do differently? And what's our differentiators? And we're always asking that internally. and it's part of our content strategy, and it's part of our blogging strategy, because standing apart is one of the easy ways to accomplish that, is to be a curator, to comment on other people's content and reinforcing your unique position and talking to your target market about that. So the standing apart was really, really a fun part, I think, of the whole Superblog experience for me. And being able to do this in a couple clicks is really, really, really cool. Blogging, hidden costs. So we started rolling out the Superblog. So what happens? Well, first they start getting bigger and bigger because we're adding more and more content to it. Unlike old websites or previous generations of websites, are pretty much static websites. You put them up there and you change them once a year or once every couple of years. And when you're talking about content marketing, you're really talking about using it and actually adding to it, adding images, adding the content. So it's very easy to go to a 3 gigabyte or a 5 gigabyte very, very quick. And that's not even big. But it's big enough to start causing problems with the off-the-shelf hosting and the off-the-shelf performance issues you're going to get from those hosting, because performance becomes really, really important for your ranking and for you as a user or your team as a user. So you don't want to be interacting with a slow website or a slow blog. And the backup and recovery, it becomes a huge issue. And 99% of the tools out there can't handle that kind of, it can't even handle a 5 gigabyte blog as far as being able to recover and migrate the sites. And so performance and the size are really going to be your hidden costs, because you're going to need to move up into your higher level servers. So lack of actionable training is the final thing we'll talk about. And that really is the level of frustration that one's experienced when you see a concept you want to apply and you want to put into action quickly, but something is just not there. The hands-on view, the examples, takes a lot of imagination. You have to create your version of that training, and by trial and error, you're gonna make a lot of mistakes, and it takes a long time to get the concept into results phase. And so one of our objectives in doing the Superblog was to make sure that we have sort of pretty much paint by number training, and we're going to continue to evolve to that, but that is our goal. That is very, very tight, and what you're seeing in the training is what's going to be reflective in your environment. So we call it hands-on training. Hands-on training, by its very definition, becomes more actionable. So Superblog social media, the integration services, allows you to add a message to your blog and it gets amplified to social accounts. Now we're going to take Facebook out, and Miriam will go into more detail why you don't want to post automatically to Facebook. And that actually puts a Superblog in a better position, because all of the alternatives, that's a significant part of what they did. So if you don't want to do Facebook automated posting because of the edge ranking, which again Miriam will go into, more of a need or a benefit to come into a Superblog environment, which you're posting from WordPress to all of these sites, ×2 or ×3 even, if you're not breaking the terms of service. And the fact that we can even post to bulletin forums is another exciting feature of this. So it really is a tool to amplify your message and to connect with as many social media sites. And these are all relevant. These are not like, well, what's Reddit? Why do I care about Scoop It? Why do I care about StumbleUpon? Why do I care about Tumblr? Well, because Yahoo just bought Tumblr recently, right? So that becomes a domain that you want to have your brand on, pointing back to your main website. These are very, very important components of being able to rank without spending a ton of money on backlinks. So let's look at the data flow for a second. So if we look to the left, again, we just put this diagram, Google authorship, make sure that's set up, and then you're going to be what we call posting in WordPress terms. But even if you're not familiar with WordPress, we have a lot of how-to videos which walk you through what you need to access and what you need to do to use the device, to use the Superblog component. And then to the left, we'll talk more about that in a minute. That's the curation. That's the topic, articles to comment on. They actually get served right to you. You don't even have to search. You bring them right to you, and you could just start commenting and adding a terrific amount of content very, very quickly. As part of our training, we're going to show you how to do something called on-page SEO. It's a fundamental thing. If you don't do this right, then there's no point to doing any of the content marketing. And so this is a fundamental thing that we're going to make sure that everyone has access to, and that's actually going to be in the free training. And then we've taken those, we'll take that content and then we'll social media optimize it, primarily for LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, something called Open Graph. So we're tagging it. You don't have to do anything. It's automatic. So you have a better chance of being found on these other search engines. And then the auto poster will come in on a scheduled basis and start moving your data, your content to all of these social media sites. And that list continues to grow. And we could double up again where it's appropriate. We could have two sets of these accounts. So the business impact is you're getting highly optimized content. You're going to see the traffic. You could track all this in Google Analytics or an open source analytics. You'll see the traffic. And even with Google, they track the click-through rate. So you can start determining your return on investment. It actually will tell you this post was seen X many times and here's how many people clicked on it. And this gives you feedback on how to improve your content. And so this really is addressing the manual processes. Okay, still you have to go back into Facebook, all right, but still look at all you are getting covered, all right? And then let's talk about what we're doing on top of that. That's only one feed. Then we'll take your content and we apply it to an RSS set of feeds, which push your data, push your information out into different things like RSS aggregators, syndication, that we work with different syndicators. We're going to push that data to. We have 5 or 6, we're going probably up to 10 video directories. We're going to cross syndicate the community. And Miriam's going to talk more about that. Really, really important. Everyone's going to support each other and make sure that there is engagement going on in your content, that people are sharing it, liking it, and ask questions. It's just as they would in real life, except it's going to be in the social media stratosphere. And we also have automatic sharing and moderators that are going to be helping along and making sure that everyone is getting that engagement. And then you can also curate your own content, right? So now you're just getting that content and just getting more visibility out of it. And this will have an overall effect of reducing how much content marketing costs you're going to incur, because you're going to get the traffic, you're going to get the call to actions back to your landing pages, which we're also helping our members deal with, which is how you monetize their offerings. And up here in the top, we had call to action in the RSS feeds. So for example, we're running contests for vape stores with this whole platform. And so we'll have graphics for that. And people are very responsive in that segment of that market to come into the contest. So these RSS feeds get shipped all over and they have call to actions right back to your website or to your landing pages. Okay. And to stand apart, again, being able to take content, find content, or as you find content, being able to add your unique position, which reflects your selling proposition and your call to actions, that information builds up. So when people are reading through your material, and that could be just a news commentary part of your blog or a separate blog, that's by its very nature is allowing you to be the expert and stand apart. So in summary, we've put industrial strength hardware together. And I think this is probably some of the fastest, if not the fastest hardware you're going to find. We have continuous backup and recovery. We have virus protection. And there's really nothing quite like that I've seen out there that measures the function and the features that we put together on the infrastructure. That's just part of the Superblog. And we also have premium themes, and we make sure everything supports something called silo architecture. We're going to get into that in other videos. It's a very, very important component if you're interested in generating traffic and you're interested in ranking and you're interested in not spending a ton of money. Then you want to do it with something called silo architecture. Social media integration, we've covered. The curation blogging, we touched upon. And the expert programming services. As part of our Superblog monthly fee, there is dedicated experts in PHP and WordPress, in the APIs. There's a lot more moving parts. So this isn't about just like putting a static website and hosting it. It's making sure that it's running, it's functional, and there's experts looking at it and making sure that it's continuing to do what it's supposed to do. Now, again, I would say that the Superblog is complete. The actual managed services, which we think is the next infrastructure that everyone's going to need to succeed. And we have it. And we said, well, we think everybody else should should be able to get it, to be able to use this and benefit from this. And so we've went through the process of looking at the business case and looked at the market and just really said industrial hosting, for this magnitude, other things similar are around $30 a month. Curation software, if you're taking a software, curation software, you could pay $10 a month, you could pay $10,000 a month. And I think we've got a really good solution that we negotiated with the vendor. Maintenance programming alone costs $79. If you just look at going out, go to Google and type in WordPress maintenance. Besides some other kind of bait and switch things where you just get a poster, but you don't really get a programmer. $79 for an hour on a maintenance contract is a really good price. Social media posting tools, the same thing. You could spend $10 a month, you could spend $1,000 a month. It really depends. So we just put a number in there, which we're trying to be conservative. Now, of course, that doesn't give you the SEO training and the community that we're bringing together to share best practices, to share what's working, and just go from zero to hero in the least amount of time. And hero being, you're making money on your social media. You're seeing the traffic, you're seeing the results in your revenue and your dollars. And that'll also be consistent of our virtual events. And so if you were that type of person, if you're not doing the maintenance yourself or so on and so forth, then that's kind of what you would save over 3 years. But again, this is purely one way that we're going to save you money, save you time, and keep your eye on the ball, which is to make sure you're generating enough traffic and enough engagement that you have a successful experience. And then a free training, which I wish I had this when I was first starting out. 5 clicks to optimize a blog post. We just combined curated a couple of plugins throughout the 5 years. And we said, look how easy this is to do. Let's just show people how to do that. And we're also going to add another video on that, how to audit your website in 10 minutes. All right. And so if you're out and you're spending money on SEO and optimization, besides ranking, what else you're going to look at? We'll show you what to look at. And 15 minutes a day to become the go-to person in your market. If you follow the program and use the tools according to the action plan, you can limit your time and get a lot of content out, which is really relevant content. It's not just throwing content out. It's reflective of your situation, your unique selling proposition, and your market. And augmenting your original content, the unique content, to increase your visibility with the pick quotes, with the images, with the curation, and then mixing in your unique content, which also could be repurposed in the form of ebooks and videos and podcasts. We're going to help you do all that and get your head around all of that. So, this was our answer to our solution to be successful in our four vertical markets. We're very, very excited to go use this, and we're very excited to share this with you. And now I'm going to hand this over to Miriam, who's going to talk a little bit more about it from the social media side, right? So I'm the integration and the value guy and the content guy, but I'm not the social media guy. So Miriam is a social media. She's not the guy, as you can see. She's the social media persona or person. All right. I'll hand that off to you now.
Okay. Thanks, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Hi, everyone. I hope everyone's well. So I'm going to talk a little bit about influencer social media marketing. So as you can see on the screen, in order to become influential online, you absolutely not only have to have a social media presence, but you got to create excellent, captivating content and receive engagement in order to become influential and be that go-to person. So as you can see, that includes curation blogging, and you're going to get that all across social media networks. You're going to share it across your networks, and people are going to engage with you. You're going to end up creating a nice presence. You're going to gain followers like the natural way, okay? The natural way, organically, and that's the way to do it. You never ever want to go and buy fake followers or buy likes. However, that is a separate issue altogether. We want to get you influential online so you end up receiving very high quality engagement, and then you end up developing an excellent presence, and then you become the go-to person in your niche. However, you've got to be consistent with everything. You've got to keep blogging, you've got to share good quality content, and you've got to keep engaging with your networks all the time. All right, so this is how you create a really good quality presence, because you got to mix up the type of content that you put out. You can't just put out blog posts all the time. As far as you can't put out only links, you got to mix it up. You got to put some pick quotes, and you got to put some articles, and you got to put some comments. You got to put that all across your networks all the time, okay? And you got to be consistent with it. So when that happens, you end up developing a very strong presence. People see you, and they are very, as long as it's captivating, they're going to be impressed. They're going to engage with you, and that's how it works, okay? But you can't just single out one or two social networks. You got to put it on all of them. We're talking Facebook, Twitter, Google+, LinkedIn, and what have you. Now, here's the situation about Facebook. This is what Anthony was talking about before. If you have a third party, posting, like a third party, like Hootsuite or what have you, posting on Facebook, it's going to show you that it's posting from that third party. And that actually is going to be very bad for your visibility on Facebook because it lowers the edge rank. Okay? You have to have your Facebook posts from, you got to do it yourself, or someone's got to do it for you. It's got to be a human doing that, not any kind of automated, it can't be automated. Whereas the other social networks, it's okay, but with Facebook, it is certainly not. Okay? So I'm going to go through this again. You're going to want to put pick quotes, comments, articles, blog posts, and even other stuff that you share, other stuff that you find interesting that is in your niche. You want to share it because it shows that the people in your network that you are paying attention to what others are doing, and you're not just saying, oh, well, I created this, so I'm going to only put my stuff out. You put other stuff out too, and if you keep doing that, people are going to be impressed. They're going to comment on your stuff. They're going to like your stuff. They're going to share your stuff, and you must always interact with them as well in order to keep up that presence. And this way, the more you do that, the more consistent you are, then they're going to see you as the influential one in your niche. Who are they going to go to if they need something? You, okay? Not someone else. It'll be you because you've got the presence. So this is how it works, and we are here to help you do that. Isn't that right, Anthony?
Excellent. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's a good point. And the other thing is that you were mentioning, I think, is like status updates and just being able to share what's going on a daily basis, right? And that.
Well, yeah, I mean that's included in all that. You got to mix up your content. Pick quotes, text, blog posts, other articles. You got to mix it up.
Yeah. And so that's excellent. Thank you. Saving time is what it's all about. Reduce the time to establish your social media presence, which is really the mission of your social media campaign, to get engagement and to get people to visit and sign up to your call to action landing pages. And we really help you automate that sales funnel to accelerate your time to revenue, and will reduce the time you spend overall on social media marketing. So, Superblog free hands-on training. It's absolutely free to join. Get the fundamentals down, get the basics down, and go through the process at least once before you outsource it or hire someone to do it, and you'll have much better results. And that, if you talk to anybody doing internet marketing for any period of time, they'll all agree on that one truism. Do it yourself before you outsource it. So we have a great starter kit launch price of $12.45, and that includes a Superblog setup, a video starter package, and blog customizations, and Google Places starter package. And if you already have a Google Places, we can also turn that into a tune-up and help you rank higher and better and stronger on your Google Places, because that is definitely one area which has a tremendous return on investment. So I think by adding in the Google Places, you really will get a tremendous return on investment just on this starter package. Next, we're looking at the social media introductory pricing, and this is for the monthly subscriptions. And I think these prices are really, really fantastic. And more importantly, the results you'll see will help you track it in your Google Analytics or whatever open analytics tools you're using. But the bronze plan, starting off, just 2 tweets and 2 Facebook updates per day, all the way up to the gold plan, which also includes 1 video per week, and the link building is included in that. And so that is pretty amazing. That's a really great package, the gold plan, because you're going to get the $100 a month link building to the social media page, in addition to the social media posting. So this is really going to give you visibility in your market. And I believe that you would see the traffic in your analytics that would be giving you a return on investment. Okay, so that will be the wrap up. I'd like to thank you all for joining us, and I hope you're having a great day. And thank you, Miriam, for joining us as well. It's always a pleasure to hear from you. And we'll see you on.
It's definitely a pleasure.
We'll see you on the next webinar, which we're going to start diving into more detail on the actual user interface of the Superblog, actually using it. And more importantly, or equally importantly, we're going to be talking about the local business blueprint. And this is only one piece of the solution. And it fits into a bigger blueprint, which you can also take bite-sized chunks out of and start generating more traffic and more sales into your local business. We call that the local business blueprint. And we're going to show you the best practices that companies are using to accomplish those goals. So thanks for listening. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to go back and redo one more slide here.
Okay.
So I think at this point, I think I kind of caught you off guard because we really didn't practice. But I think at this point, we're not really saying, here's the 3 packages for letting us do your postings, right? And what we want to say is, in general, by participating in the community, you're going to reduce the time to have your social media presence, right?
Yeah, no, that's good. Another thing I was thinking too is that maybe put the price at the very end.
Well, definitely a question I had, because how do you segue into even like the one-time offer we have, as a pre-launch pricing?
Yeah.
And so we got to, it's really with delineating between, here's the Superblog, right? Here's this integration black box. Here's what it does. Here's how it saves you time, right? But it's only one part of the puzzle. To get moving, building your brand, we're running a promotion now. We call it the starter kit, which is phenomenal. You look at what's in there with the video editing and so on, everything's set up for you, and we're doing this for you and setting it up for you, right? You can still do it, right, for a half hour a day, right? Or I think at some point we got to say, then we'll throw up the package offering, right? Okay, which will be the starter package, that we're running now as part of the promotion, and then just say, listen, we've also built a network of suppliers, right? Or we are the suppliers. We want to say is you could do it yourself, or we could do it all, or you could customize a solution based on your unique thing. That's the beauty of this program, right? So like if you want to do the Facebook yourself, but you don't want to do the LinkedIn groups, we could do that, right? So every situation. So we should bring that up. There should be a do-it-yourself and another 2 more slides. We do it yourself, do it for you, you decide. But you know what? Don't make that decision until you at least go through the training and do it once yourself.
Right.
Because if you're outsourcing something without doing that, right? That's a really big point. Then we really, that will, And then Paul just made a comment. Why are you asking the listener to do? Are you asking them to buy, or are you asking them to join free, the membership? And this was another issue we came up with last night. And I think that we should do both. I think we should do all, right? So I think we should say offer one, maybe, free training,